Let me explain how.
Yeah.
I'm now looking at where the party leadership is trying to move itself. That small fraction of the party still has political, financial, and other sway and control over the leadership. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene will be the most powerful speaker of the House because she will have the opportunity to control what comes out of Kevin's mouth around the things that matter to that small cadre.
You're saying she's going to be speaker?
I'm saying she'll be the
puppeteer.
I just call the thing what it is.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and former chair of the RNC, Michael Steele, has a prediction that should give us all chills. He believes that Marjorie Trainwreck Greene will be the driving force behind Kevin McCarthy in the House.
I mean, you call it shadow, I call it the thing. It's the job. Because when you can't make that separation, when she is you're dragging her to your events and you're propping up and you're telling her, not only are we going to put you back in committee, we're going to give you a powerful leadership role.
This makes a lot of sense, honestly. If you've been paying attention in the last 2 years, Marjorie Greene is the loudest mouth and is the most vocal about the most absurd things. So she will receive the most media attention, just like Trump. And that is a strategy by those that are staunch MAGA Republicans. They will replicate the behavior and tantrums of Donald Trump because their base loves it.
So obviously we have the Republicans winning back control barely of the House. One of the things that Kevin McCarthy has said is that he's going to strip you of your position on the House Intelligence Committee.
Well, I suspect he will do whatever Marjorie Taylor Greene wants him to do. He's a very weak leader of his conference, meaning that he will adhere to the wishes of the lowest common denominator. And if that lowest common denominator wants to remove people from committees, that's what they'll do. It's going to be chaos with a Republican leadership. And sadly, the kind of the crazy caucus has grown among the Republicans. Many Republicans who won primaries in deeply red districts are coming to Congress, like the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Paul Gosars.
McCarthy isn't the firebrand that the MAGA cult is bloodthirsty for. They are looking for personalities that mirror Donald Trump. Now, the question is, what happens when all these people rise to power without Trump looking over their shoulders? Do you think they'll continue to stand beside him or slowly start to make their own name out of the mess that he left, just to throw him under the bus later? We all know that Donald Trump would do that to all of these people in a heartbeat. But what about his most loyal subjects? Will they still sing his praises when they have their own position and ability to influence without being attached to his name? And if they do turn on him, if the entire Republican Party just splits, I think we can all be sure that Donald Trump would run as an independent and take the entire party down with him in 2024. That's just a prediction, but I know it's on the minds of all of these folks.
I have got to get to the airport, but I'm glad to talk to you about this. I do not know Nick Fuentes. I've never heard him speak. I've never seen a video. I don't know what his views are, so I'm not aligned with anything that may be controversial. What I can tell you is I went to his event last night to address his very large following, because that is it's a very young following, and it's a generation I'm extremely concerned about.
Now, first, I got to point out that it's hilarious how every time you catch these people red-handed, whether it be Marjorie Taylor Greene or Donald Trump explaining how they don't know who Nick Fuentes or any of these other people are, never heard of them, or people like Sam Bankman-Fried or, the heads of Wells Fargo, when they get put into the hot seat for, ripping people off of hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, it's always, oh, I didn't know. I had no clue. I'm just dumb. That's all it is. It's like, oh, yeah, you, the person who's the head of the whole operation, the person in charge of everything going on here, the last person to say yes or no to things. You don't know what's going on. It's like, first you're the genius, now you're an idiot. So we're stuck to choose between the two because your only scapegoat is, well, I'm just dumb. Well, then I think that's a very strong argument that you shouldn't be in the position of power that you're in. If you ask me, I think that's really what that's a good argument for.
It's a white nationalist.
Excuse me a minute. I'll tell you exactly why I went. I went to talk to them about America First policies, and I talked to them about what's important for our country going forward. Now, in regards to Russia, Putin is a murderer, and he should have never invaded Ukraine. What he is doing is completely wrong. I stand with our NATO member allies, and I'm completely against this war.
It's a white nationalist.
Excuse me, I'm going to finish. Everything that he's doing is wrong. He's killing people over and over. So I'm staunchly against it, and I'm staunchly against Vladimir Putin and his invasion of Ukraine.
And then, you know, the biggest issue with the America First and the nationalism is nationalism creates a group of people who are acceptable and everyone else is the enemy, a way of cleansing the nation of all of its issues. That's just the way the thinking goes. And then you look at, you know, programs like Fox News, Tucker Carlson, where he's openly talking about the great replacement theory, where they're like, look at Ketanji Brown Jackson. And even Nick Fuentes, when he was laughing and he was talking about, you know, they're trying as hard as they can not to say, look at this black woman, this is what America's coming to. You know, even he called them out for not really being honest with their racism.
It means, yeah, she's black. And if you're a white guy and you dream of becoming a Supreme Court justice, you're going to have to clerk for someone named Ketanji Brown Jackson. And so Charlie Kirk was like, he was like this close to saying, look at that black face. look at her black face and her name. You know, that's what your country's going to look like.
I mean, that's what this is all about. It's about all these people are flooding into the country who don't belong here. All these criminals, you know, we need to put them in prison, whether that be just black people in inner city neighborhoods. That's what the politics of the right wing in this country is. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene don't hide it whatsoever.